Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Etheria Restart video. So in today's video, guys, I really want to talk about the importance that some of these lower level shells might have on your account that a lot of people aren't aware of or don't talk about much, because it's similar to what we were discussing yesterday, where people are telling you not to invest resources in things because they get outpaced really quickly and they fall off, and you're using resources that are going to be bottlenecked. However, there's a lot of things in here that are useful for these shells, which have been, kind of talked about within the community in the same way, which is don't waste resources on them. You're going to regret it. There's going to be a bottleneck, blah, blah, blah. And something that needs to be mentioned is that no matter how many resources you save to level up your shells, once you get to like Nico, Nana, and Sharon, where you're farming like mythic shells, you will always hit a bottleneck. It doesn't matter how much you saved in this area. Maybe you get a shell up to, maybe you get one extra shell up to level 40 or 30 or something. I don't know, but it's not going to be a lot because these shells don't cost a whole lot to level up, which is, one of the things that I want to stress about this. Now, these shells, the actual effects of them are okay. They're not great, but you should expect this considering you can farm this on day 2 of the game. You should expect things to fall off. However, they are very important for progression. So these first 2 shell dungeons, they're okay. They have one shell that is somewhat useful. This Agent Lizard is all right. Its effect is okay, which I've mentioned. The thing that shells really provide in the early game that goes completely underrated is the matrix abilities. The fact that you can stack additional matrices on top of your modules to get you maybe just that last tier is quite important. So the Agent Lizard has good matrices and it has a decent ability. On Shadowrunner, the Unbridled Science is the same way. It has the speed set matrix, which is kind of key, and a 30% turn meter boost to your character that actually just took a turn is really big. Now, this is on a 4-turn cooldown, which stinks, but sometimes all you need is really 2 turns to get things set up and moving. So that is pretty nice. When it comes to a Pate has 2 really good shells in Budo Panda, which again has really good matrices tied to it. And then White Gale, which is a really good supporter for debuffers. It extends all of the durations of debuffs that go up. So if you have somebody that lands an attack down and speed down on something, it will extend the duration of those debuffs. So turning something into maybe a 1-turn into a 2-turn, which really helps get you over the hump with damage amplification or keeping your heroes alive. If it's something like attack down or speed down, having that up for 2 or 3 turns is much better than the original effect. So do not sleep on that. And then Karuru has niche stuff, but still having 1 or 2 of these is pretty good. This Mermaid Princess is really solid on specific characters, and as you see with this game, eventually when you get higher stage shells, these effects are on the higher stage shells. It's just a better version of it. So they'll have more base stats and a better version of this, but this is the lowest level possible for this type of effect, but still extremely useful early on. This shell is not great. If you have 1 copy of it and you use it on a healer, it's okay. Mainly because the matrices available to it are good. The speed set and then the 2 sets that give additional HP to your healer. That's useful. I'm not going to say that it's bad, but you're really only going to use it on maybe 3 heroes or 4 heroes in the game that we have available to us. And then the other hero that I think is quite underrated is Star. This hero can really help you with strong characters that have high cooldown abilities. Think of your Krakens, think of your Marvels, turn meter pushers, CCers. This is a fantastic character for this. So most people know the shells, right? But why are these shells important? Okay, and I'm going to show you my account and get ready to gouge your eyeballs out, because I'm doing everything that people have told people not to do, but my progression has gone smoothly. And that is, I have leveled up shells. Yes, I've leveled up shells to level 30, and they are purple. None of the elite shells, right? Because I don't have, or unique, epic shells. I don't have access to them yet. I will right after a single run here where I can farm Fabian, which is a great shell dungeon, but that's beside the point. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fully leveled up shells, 7 fully leveled up shells. So yeah, I'm basically doing what everyone has told you not to do. And if you look at my training data, it's okay. Some people might have like 300,000 more training data than me, but trust me, when they get to Mythic, it's just like, I don't know, 5 upgrades, and then that training data that they saved is gone. So the important things about these shells is they have a second passive unlock ability, right? You have the first one, which even the rares will have, where you can get attack, percentage, HP, defense. That's all well and good. But this passive slot 2, being able to give you anywhere from 4 to 10 additional speed, is super huge. Super huge. If you need additional crit rate or crit damage, that's also an option. Effect accuracy is also good. The other thing that's really nice about these shells is whenever you don't roll the passive that you want, it's really easy to re-roll for this passive. Like, I think I've gotten really great rolls on a lot of these things without it costing me a whole lot of material. So if you want to reconfigure this, you want to re-roll this passive, you can do it for only 5K. When you're re-rolling on your like epic and mythic characters, it takes training data and it also takes a reconfiguration chip. So yes, their rolls are higher and they're better, but it takes way more resources to do it, and you're not guaranteed anything. You might end up missing before you can re-roll again. So if you have some of these heroes or these shells in your back pocket where you're re-rolling for higher rolls for only 5K, this can really, really help you progress. Looking at she just gets 10 additional speed from this terrible unique shell. She now has 30 additional speed, where if I didn't level this hero up, if I was trying to preserve my training data, she'd probably be closer to like 15 speed without any of these rolls. On top of that, she also has 2 decent matrices that she can utilize, things like that. Another thing that people don't know is if you level up a character to level 30, there's actually an additional step that you can take to empower or awaken that shell. So you'll need 3 copies of it, but because you have, somewhat limited options to farm shells on, you can go back and just farm, a whole bunch of Jaquez until you get 3 of these agent lizards, and you can level this up to awaken this. So what the awakening does is actually pretty good. So right here, this deals 50% damage with 2,000 base damage. And then what it does is it puts like a debuff up that says the next hit of damage this person's going to take is going to be increased by 15%. But if you awaken it, which you can see in the archive tab, so if you go down to that hero here, if it's awakened, not only does the damage taken increase to 20%, but its raw damage also goes up. So again, these are like little minor things that people don't take into consideration to really get you over that next hump to make things easy to farm. So a little bit goes a long way. If you end up doing that, there's going to come a time where you have enough gear to build up your characters and it becomes way easier, right? Then you don't have to invest so much into your shells. So what I can do now, as I kind of spoke about on yesterday's video, is I can take this shell and I can mix and match it and move it around to any of the damage dealers where Leon might not be great. If they need 2 additional onslaught matrices, right? Same thing with Freya in this Unbridled Science. Like, if I need to put this on a debuffer that needs a little more effect accuracy and a little more, juice, while I'm trying to get them to, take more turns to increase and amplify damage, 100% reasonable. So, I wanted to bring that to your guys' attention. It's okay to level this stuff up. It's really going to help you progress. It's going to give you that extra speed or that extra HP or attack that's really getting you over that hump. So those shell dungeons are really important. It's something that I'm farming constantly. I will farm up a decent amount of gear, and after that, I'm going straight to shells. If I can't farm the highest stage of gear, I'm only farming shells, and I'm leveling up those shells, and then going back in and trying the module dungeons again. That's kind of the route that I'm going, okay? Just real quick, I guess, is I'll tell you where some of these shells can be used. Agent Lizard, obviously, in some really high burst damage dealers. Your Leons, your Rolmokas, your Messiahs, just pure DPS damage dealers, that's where you want to put them. It does compete, though, with Voodoo Panda, which is in a pate, okay? Voodoo Panda offers you an additional matrix, which is Harvest, where you're ignoring like 30% of your enemy's defense if they're above 50%. This is really good in Arena, but it's also okay in PvE. So it's kind of competing against that. But Voodoo Panda, same thing. This is just like pure DPS heroes. The nice thing about Shadowrunner and Karuru and the other shell in a pate is you can slap them on a whole lot of things. So your Unbridled Science, and I also want to show you guys what the Awakened is. So I'll talk to you about that in the archive here. So Unbridled Science, if it's fully awakened, you increase the turn meter by 40%, not 30. That's almost half. So you almost loop back around to another turn. So this one is any buffer, debuffer, or support hero, someone who's putting on shields, someone who's putting up immunity, someone who's putting up like crit damage buffs, crit rate buffs, leech life. This can go on anyone. This is the most universal item. It can even go on a damage dealer. The thing is most damage dealers are in attack sets, but if you want to run them speedy, you certainly can. When it comes to, I already talked about Voodoo Panda. So White Gale, this is another one. So when White Gale is fully awakened, not only does it increase the duration, but then that Animus has an effect accuracy boost by 15%. This is something that people struggle really early on with, with stats, is, okay, yeah, I need some speed and some bulk. Where am I going to find my effect accuracy? They might have one module that has effect accuracy as a main stat. So you're able to get an additional 15% here, which is almost like half of a module leveled up to maybe like level 9. So that's a big deal. Any of your debuffers, anything that has defense down, attack down, speed down, I don't believe this works with unique effects. It might, like unique debuffs, like Hack-In or something like that with Kloss. I don't think it does. But I could be wrong. Other than that, like, this is very straightforward. Anyone who has one of those debuffs that isn't a DOT or a control effect, like freeze or stun or sleep, you're slapping this on that hero. Mermaid Princess, purifying 3 debuffs. This is mainly for like 1 or 2 heroes that have the ability to purify other heroes. So if they have a built-in debuffing for your team, you can slap this on them to make sure that their turn is always going off so they're not controlled. So that's something. And then this one, when Star is awakened, not only does it reduce the cooldown of the next skill that you use, but then it also boosts your turn meter by 10%, which is awesome. The awakening here, I think, is actually quite important. And again, you know, it still has that speed set as a matrix available to you. So this is most likely going on your turn meter pushers, right? Whether it's boost or reduction. The reason why I say this is prior to global launch, there was a big rebalancing where turn meter reduction, stealing, and boosting really got readjusted. And a lot of it had to do with skill cooldowns. And it's always, well, not always, it's mostly the skill 3 on those heroes, which have a higher cooldown. So if you have Star on them, you're looping back around to those cooldowns a lot faster. Star is very, very good, but that's where she's most likely going to be used in that area. But again, like this shell can be used on damage dealers. Most notably, Messiah, you know, the LD damage dealer that we have on a banner right now. I think his skill 3 is a 3-turn cooldown. And that skill ignores, I think, 70% of the enemy's defense. It's a huge skill. So if you have Star on your Messiah, and he's built with a little bit of speed, he can skill 3 on his 3rd turn. So he'll use his skill 3. It'll get reduced from 2 turns down to 1 turn. He'll go again, and then the next time around, he goes again, which is awesome because if he kills something, he gets invincible. So he'll have that 1 turn where the cooldown is to actually build up again and then nuke hard again. So it's actually kind of neat. Anyway, so yeah, guys, those are the shells. Do not underestimate these unique shells. They cost way less to level up. Getting that second passive for speed, crit rate, or crit damage, effect accuracy, really important second passive. I hope it helped. I hope you guys are crushing it and progressing. And just loving the game. But anyway, that's all I got for you. Catch you on the next one. See ya.